Fortunate enough to have interviewed Dr. Laboso twice. First time in studio on women in leadership, and second time when we went to Bomet. And what was, very different about her, because we do have to make these calls where he got, time to time when you need to get an interview. She would pick the call.
Every time she'd pick up. She
would pick, or if she didn't pick, then she would return the call. Ordinarily, you need to text someone and say, this is what I want to do. I mean, would you be available for this? And she'd always get back. So this time we went to Bomet County, and she invited us to her home in Sotik, where she has lived for a while. Even when she was Member of Parliament, she continued to live there even as governor. And she invited us to breakfast. We had a pleasant chat, and she took us to this hotel called the Sotik Hotel, where there's this gentleman called Francis, she said, was a very strong supporter of hers. And she said that she always made sure she went to have tea there and some mandazi and to buy the women there. That's the pictures we saw
of you having mandazis with her.
Those are the pictures. So the thing, what I'm trying to get at is that she was a very ordinary person walking through the streets of Sotik and Bomet, mingling with people.
Down to earth.
Very down to earth lady. And I must say, indeed, we did lose a great leader. She never pointed out at any time that she was unwell. This was 3 months ago, but she never let us in on the fact that she might have been unwell, if at all she did know. She was energetic, vibrant. We walked through the streets of Sotik, went down to the referral hospital, and she was the ever vibrant lady that I remember.
She actually spoke to you about her vision, and she believed her vision would propel her sort of back to office in 2022. What was her key focus? Many challenges to deal with. What was she focusing on?
She was very focused on health and food security. And she pointed out that there'd been a trickle-down effect to other counties because of how much effort she had put into ensuring that the maternity units in the hospitals there were functional. She's very passionate about women, and she spoke about how, for her, just seeing a trickle-down effect with people from Kisii coming, into Bomet to access health services was a huge win for her. She also talked about food security, and particularly milk. She talked about ensuring that every homestead had some sort of income coming in from dairy, cattle, and those are some of the two things she pointed out. She spoke about her highest moments, Wahiga, and she said that one of the highlights of her time or her tenure as governor was the inauguration, when so many crowds came to Bomet, and when the president came there and her predecessor Isaac Ruto as well handed over the reins to her.
Proud moment for her.
Very proud moment.
Lilian Muli is still here with me in studio. She spoke to Dr. Joyce Laboso in April 2019, interviewed her for Success Factor, picked up some snippets that she's divulging right now. Lilian, at the beginning of the story, Dr. Laboso talks about how she had to change a couple of things that she does to appeal to the people, because politics is largely male-driven. What challenges did she go through that she was able to share with you?
She spoke about, first of all, being a pioneer governor, Bomet County as a female, being a challenge in itself, in the sense that, a lot of focus sometimes for women leaders is put into what they're wearing, what they're saying, and that female card for her was...
It becomes a campaign factor, what you're wearing.
Yes, her detractors, she did speak about that, but she also pointed out that for her, she was not selling, her femininity or her being a woman, but she was selling her leadership and the legacy that she wanted to leave behind for the people of Bomet. She talked about, and she urged people, and if you watch that interview, she urged women who want to get into politics not to be averse to public scrutiny. She said when she was deputy speaker, her detractors would throw, a lot of negativity her way based on the fact that she's a female. When she was Sotik Member of Parliament, that happened as well, including, her being married to somebody outside of her community. And you had her husband speak about that as well and say thank you to the people of Sotik. She spoke about that very openly, but said for her, her leadership was more important than any other thing that anybody would throw at her as regards her sex and her femininity. So a very remarkable leader, and she also pointed out that she took over after her sister Lona Laboso passed on. One of the young men that I met with her is the son of the late Lona Laboso, her sister, and she adopted that boy, and he's a grown man now. He's in Dista University. He calls her mom. So that also speaks, about her personality and just how loving she was. Her staff at the county office, I saw a couple of them there at Lee Funeral Home, very shaken indeed, because when we were at her office, we noticed that they work as a family. She dines with them, she eats with them. They're very free. They were very free with her, mingled with her very freely. So a very happy office, a very cheerful office, and indeed a very vibrant leader. And therefore, once again, our condolences to the people of Bomet County, because indeed she was not only a remarkable woman, but a remarkable leader. As journalists, and when you do a segment like your Success Factor, you're doing it for your audience. Right. But there are obviously key takeaways that you leave every Success Factor with. What was your key takeaway when you were leaving Bomet after having spent 1-2 days with the late governor? What was the takeaway for Lilian Muli in that? I think the takeaway for me was how open she was and how welcoming she was, not only to us, but to the people on the streets that came to say hello to her, to the people that said Mama County. This is one of, I think, my all-time favorite interviews because of how easy she was to speak to. She mentioned that as a French lecturer at Edgerton University and having been a teacher previously, that she missed teaching, and that aside from marking, that she would love to go back into teaching. So, not your everyday interview, no holds barred. She was just open. She was just real. I don't know how to describe her, Wahiga, but she was a very open and easy person to interview because she allowed us to see another side to her. She allowed us to see her as Mama County. She allowed us to see her at home. She spoke about her dress. She talked about her family and choosing to keep them away from the limelight. This is, I think, the first time that a lot of people are seeing her family because she chose to keep that part of her life very private. So once again, this is an interview that I'm glad I got to host and I got to be a part of with her. So once again, to the people of Bomet County, our condolences. And of course, a few weeks after that, she then jetted out to India and to the United Kingdom and came back about 2 weeks ago. She spoke about her education. You've mentioned French. Did you speak about the value of education in transforming a community? Because she spent time, studying, lecturing as well. Did any of that come up as you spoke? She did not speak about it, but of course she spoke about having scaled the greatest heights of education herself. I think this translates to her leadership style as well. The fact that she's able to take over as CEO of this county, coming after a seasoned politician, that is Isaac Ruto. It was a bruising battle. Absolutely. So the fact that she's been able to do what she's been able to do in that county in the time that she has served as Bomet governor, that was remarkable, and that speaks into her education herself and what she was able to deliver to the people of Bomet County. Lilian Muli, thank you so much for coming to studio to share some of those insights. That Lilian, just reflecting on the last time she spoke with the late governor of Bomet County, Dr. Joyce Laboso, that was in April 2019. That story as part of the series Success Factor. Those are some of the pictures you're seeing on the screen that were filmed then by Lilian and the camera crew there.